One area of society that is heavily dominated by conservatives is religion, but they don't use religion in a positive way. Instead, they use religion to oppress and try to control society. The best example of this in America we are witnessing right now, as several conservative-controlled states use religion and small snippets from the Bible to try to oppress the LGBTQ community. Conservatives never mention the parts of the Bible speaking out against divorce, infidelity, greed, even tattoos, and women not dressing modestly. Go against what the Bible teaches. But you'll never hear a conservative mention those things because they are just as guilty as everyone else when it comes to those things just mentioned. Instead, in one example of conservatives' attempt to revert humanity back, they only read Leviticus from the Bible and use that to try to oppress gay people. I'm not an expert on religion, but what I do know and what the evidence supports is that many conservative movements are influenced by the devil himself. The devil has always wanted to see humanity fail, divided and at war, and just animal-like. A lot of conservatives complain about Hollywood being controlled by liberals, college campuses being controlled by liberals, and music being dominated by liberals. And they talk like there is some big conspiracy to keep conservatives out of these public figure roles. But the truth is, most conservatives aren't smart enough to be teachers, because to be a good teacher, you have to be willing to think outside of the box. You have to be willing to question yourself. You have to be willing to accept new facts and new discoveries as human knowledge increases. And that goes against the conservative mindset. Most conservatives lack the talent required to be actors or musicians also. The majority of people want to see music evolve and are constantly looking for that new sound and new style, while the conservative, on the other hand, will view most music as being bad because it is different from what they grew up with, even though they themselves had parents who may have been against what they listened to when they were young. They're just incapable of understanding, even though at one point they may have experienced the exact same thing that they are doing to others. It's the same thing with acting and movies today. Conservatives will complain because a movie has an LGBTQ character or there's too much diversity. Conservatives just want to remake the same storylines over and over again, which is the same way they live their lives, and want everyone else to do the same. The spirit of conservatism is all about oppression. It's all about trying to revert humanity back to an earlier time. It's always about finding the new things that's going on, whether it's new technologies or social changes, or just being anti-everything pretty much, just anti-anything that is new. That is conservatism. I've said it in other videos and I'll say it again. When people stop evolving, they become conservatives. Example, Afghanistan is a perfect example of what happens when conservatives take over a society. You end up with this nightmare of a society that reverts back to an earlier time. This is what conservatives in America are also trying to do to this country. They want to go back in time and not allow any new social, cultural, or technological changes.